Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video, doing the second autumn 2021 update for today's second video. So we can look at May data for this one, May to autumn data. It's kind of like a follow-on really from last week when we did spring to autumn data. Well, now we're doing May to autumn data, and I shall get on that for you very shortly. Just say about the first video saying was our 7 AM upload. We've got GavsWeatherVids Sunny Roundup coming up for you around lunchtime. And we're going to be live streaming from 6 o'clock. It's a Sunny live stream, so I'll have to show you some long range. More about that at the end of the video. Right then, so of course it's going to be quite a long video as always with the long range stuff, so this will be kept within the autumn updates playlist on YouTube. At the moment you have to click the playlist tab even on the YouTube homepage, and it will take you through to, the list of playlists. I will get this placed onto the homepage of the YouTube channel very shortly. I've just got to do like the verification for the spring forecast. I'll be doing that in the next few days, and then I'll remove the spring playlist from the homepage and replace it with the autumn playlist. So yeah, check out the video whenever you want on demand via the playlist for autumn forecasts and updates at the channel. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. I'm going to say thank you so much to Rich of the incredible autumn 2021 updates gift. Thank you so much, Rich. I love it. There's so much detail in that. I absolutely adore that. So thank you so much, Rich. Fantastic colours. I always love the autumn gifts because they're always so colourful. So thank you so much, Rich. And also thank you so much to Shryan as well, my good friend Shryan Bruin. So thank you so much to Shryan for getting all of the relevant years together. So thank you to Rich and also to Shryan. Okay, right, let's get on with it then. So we'll turn the webcam off, shall we? There we go, I'm disappearing. I'll be back a little bit later on. We're going to have a look at the CT first of all. So we're going to do CT data first, and then we'll do England and Wales precipitation. So May's central England temperature came out at 10.1. It was an anomaly of 1 degree below average, in fact. So very simply, for this first part of the second autumn 2021 update, we're going to be looking at autumns following May's with a CT of 9.9 to 10.3. That's going to be our temperature range, 9.9 to 10.3. So let's do this, shall we? Right, drop the webcam back on. Shall I put the webcam back? There we go, return. That was a short little break, wasn't it? Right, okay, so our first, let's look at this. Our first, because last year I was making loads of mistakes, wasn't I? I'm going to do that this week. So I'm going to get this right. Our first autumn following a May with a CT of 9.9 to 10.3 was autumn 1837. That was all right, wasn't it? Right, so this one is quite a coolish sort of autumn with above average heights to the west and below average heights to the east. So we bring the wind in from a northerly direction. Quite a cool, but probably not overly wet autumn, but probably quite a cold autumn. Our next autumn is 1839. This one with blocking to the north, blocking in the northern latitudes, low pressure. Below average height supports sailboats along the jet stream as well. So quite unsettled, maybe quite wet actually, and pretty cool too. Our next autumn is 1850 with below average heights across northern and western Europe in combination with blocking to the north that could pull the wind in from the northeast. So probably quite a cold autumn out, especially if that's pattern still going on into November. Our next autumn, following May CT range of 9.9 to 10.3, is the autumn of 1854. Look at this one. Again, high pressure pulled out to our west, low pressure through north and western Europe, and down comes that northeasterly wind. So again, probably quite a cold autumn. At the moment, we're going to trend towards colder autumns because these are all a very, very, very long time ago. Let's have a look at autumn of 1866. This is a little bit different. This one's probably a milder, drier autumn, or a warmer, drier autumn with high pressure reaching through the UK. It is extending north as well, but I think we're generally pulling in quite a lot of warm air from the south and from the southwest too. Our next autumn is going to be 1873 with below average heights, low pressure across northern and west Europe. Again, high pressure is pulled out to the middle of the Atlantic. It wouldn't be a Gav long range update about a cough, would it? So we're bringing in wind from the northeast with this one. Quite unsettled, maybe quite cold again. Mid-Atlantic region is definitely a pattern here with a lot of these earlier autumns. But also this one has deep low pressure across northwest Europe, so this looks like quite a cold and wet autumn. Our next autumn is going to be 1874 for the May CT range of 9.9 to 10.3. Low pressure off the Atlantic with this one. High pressure way to the southwest, winds are in from more of a westerly direction. Probably that one is going to be a little bit milder, not as much blocking, not as much mid-Atlantic region, so it's a milder wind direction, but it is unsettled. The next autumn is 1886, this one with high pressure to our east and northeast, low pressure to our southwest. This could be a slightly warmer autumn than we've had in many of these autumns, and a little bit drier as well. With that one. Our next autumn is 1897. This one is a mild, dry autumn, I think. The first true sort of proper anticyclonic autumn, really, with high pressure centred over the UK and Western Europe as well. It's been a lot of dry and pretty warm weather in with that one. And then we've got the autumn of 1898. Again, this one could be a little bit warmer as well. High pressure sitting just to our east and southeast with drawing at wind like a southerly direction. There's lots of low pressure out to southwest. That looks like quite a dry and potentially quite warm autumn as well. And we've got 1899. So what a run of Mays with a CET of 9.9 to 10.3 we get there. This one, again, a bit anticyclonic. High pressure over and to the south. We can this time. Low pressure is up to the north. And so that's going to be probably quite a dryish autumn again. And probably quite a mild autumn too, I would have thought. Right, finally, we're into the 20th century. Our next autumn is 1900 with lots and lots of low pressure up to the north. High pressure in the middle of the Atlantic. Incoming winds from the west. That looks like quite an unsettled and probably quite cool autumn as well. Long gap then, so many like at the early 1800s, and then get a long gap from 1900 to 1926, how bizarre. So this one is our next autumn following May City range 9.9 with deep low pressure across the northern and western parts of Europe. A wet and mild autumn, I would have thought, in 1926. 1935 also looks very wet with low pressure over top of the UK and Ireland. A very, very unsettled autumn, that one. Then we move through to 1951. And this one has low pressure digging into our south and west with high pressure over Scandinavia. Lining up a jet stream on a northwest southeast alignment, almost pulling in winds from the east. I think it's a very unsettled autumn and probably quite a cool autumn as well. Then we've got the autumn of 1957. This one is a milder, drier autumn, I think, although it does have a wet September. But after that, it goes generally dry and mild through the rest of the autumn. Autumn 1962 turns up next. This is a cold and dry autumn. Of course, it's just before the daddy. It's just before the daddy of cold winters. 62, 63, and the autumn that precedes the daddy of cold winters is just generally dry and cold, really. You can see the building blocks for the winter getting into place. Notice we haven't got true Greenland Arctic block. We've actually got quite a lot of low pressure around there, but notice there is high pressure around Svalbard. High pressure. I'm so sorry, everybody. What's Gav doing? That high pressure extends into Russia as well. So the building blocks are there. They're just not quite in the right position to be extremely cold. But of course, by the time we get into the winter itself, then those building blocks do get into position. Anyway, the autumn of 1962, before the daddy of cold winters, was a cool, quite cold, but relatively dry autumn. There was snow in November as well, by the way. Then we've got the autumn 1975. This is in the middle of the drought years, of course, so this is just a dry, warm autumn. That's quite a wet September, interesting. At the end of a hot summer, 75, we get a wet September, and then it goes very dry again through the remainder of the autumn. And overall, it's quite a dry and warm autumn in 1975. Autumn 1983 is mild and dry, with high pressure sitting just to our south, pulling up wind from a southwesterly direction, I should say. So we've got a wet September again in 1983, but otherwise October and November are relatively mild, dryish sort of months. 1984 is a very mild and wet autumn. So deep low pressure over and to the west of the country, income westerly winds. So it's a very mild but also a wet autumn that we have in 1984. Barely any frost, I don't think, in that autumn. A wet Christmas is basically frost free, and then of course we get to Christmas and it starts getting much colder just after for the rest of the winter of 84-85. We've got 1987 showing up next. This, of course, the great storm, the Michael Fish storm. Michael Fish hurricane. So this one is a very wet autumn, actually, particularly so in October. It's an exceptionally wet October. The rest of the autumn is generally wet as well, Atlantic driven. And of course, we know that it has that tremendous storm that flattened, hundreds of acres of trees in the south. Right, that's the last year as well, when we had a May CT range of 9.9 to 10.3. So putting all of that together, this is how all Septembers combined are coming out, following a May CT range of 9.9, 10.3. Overall, a very unsettled signal for these Septembers. Look at it's deep low pressure over country. It's high pressure to our south, but it's a long way from us into the bed. So a wet September is favoured there, following that May CT range. Complete different though when we get through to October. So all Octobers combined are looking, following a May CT range of 9.9, 10.3, much more towards anticyclonic weather. How interesting. We get a flip from a wet September to a dry October. How interesting is that, everyone? Then we go through to November. So all Novembers combined looking, following a May CT range of 9.9, 10.3. So this one sort of takes a high pressure more towards the north, and the northwest has low pressure to the south. Very deep low pressure to the south, but it's very easterly, that, doesn't it? So you could envisage quite a lot of cold Novembers in with that, I would have thought. And all autumns combined, following a May CT range of 9.9, 10.3, just look quite unsettled, really, with low pressure across northern and western, central and southwestern areas. So it looks like it's an unsettled autumn, albeit with a drier, period through October. There was lots of years there just from the 1800s. So let's take all of those out and narrow things down to just look at the years post-1950. So this is how all Septembers combined are looking, following a May CT range of 9.9, 10.3 post-1950. Oh, I'm so sorry once again, everybody. Very unsettled for these Septembers. Makes no difference. If we take all of those years out in the 1800s and the early 1900s, doesn't make any difference to the overall signal. It's both sets, or the entire set, I suppose, just sorts of very wet and unsettled for September. So a wet September is definitely being favoured here. This is how all Octobers combined are looking, much more towards higher pressure. So again, you have this flip from a wet September to a drier October. This is how all Novembers combined are looking. So again, very similar signals. High pressure then is more favoured to be to the north. By the way, I think 1979 is in this analogs package. I did not show it. I must have mislaid the chart, but the chart was created and it is part of our all years combined. So the autumn of 1979 is also within that analogs package, where we go from 75 to 83. 79 should have been in the middle. Good spot there, Gav. Good spot. Right, so low pressure tends to be to our south, and winds tend to be in from an easterly direction. So you could see that there's a cold, there's a little bit of cold potential actually there for those Novembers. Generally drier, I think, for October and November, and quite wet for September, though. And this is how all autumns combined are looking, following a May CT range of 9.9, 10.3 post-1950. Here we go, then. We tend to get lower pressure over and to west of the country. Higher pressure tends to be to our east. Winds tend to be coming in from a sort of westerly type direction, really. So, a lot of variation going on. We've got lots of low pressure down here. We've got some higher pressure over here. Just tells us, really, that all autumn's combined chart just tells us that we have a very wet September in play, but October and also November are quite a lot drier as well. Right, so that's it then, everybody. Yeah, so that's it for the first part. I'm going to pause the video there. And when we return, we're going to do it all over again, but this time we'll do it through, with England weather precipitation for May. So we're going to do it all over again, but with rainfall rather than temperature. You get yourself a cup of tea and stretch your legs, and I'll see you back here in 2 seconds' time. See you soon. Hello there. Hello. Thank you so much, everybody, for returning to our second Autumn 2021 update. So, in the first part of the video, we were looking at May CT data, May to autumn, you know, CT data. This time, we're going to do it all over again, but we're going to do May, England and Wales precipitation data to autumn. So it's all going to make sense in a second. I shall get on with you in a minute. Just so if you're enjoying this second autumn 2021 update, then please smash your like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to tell your friends, family, everybody else who subscribes. Well, thank you so much for the amount. And drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Thank you so much for doing that. Right, I'm going to have to turn the webcam off for this bit, so I don't obscure the screen. We're going to go over to the England and Wales P page at the UK Met. So, of course, England and Wales precipitation is one of the longest, consistent precipitation records anywhere on the Earth. It goes back to 1766. It goes back a very, very long way. Of course, the further back you go, the more unreliable it gets. We come down through the centuries then. We come to the current year of 2021. And then we try and locate May, which is just there. And we see that May 2021 came out with an England and Wales precipitation of 122.5 millimeters. It was a very wet, it was very wet May indeed, which places it actually within the top 20 wettest Mays on record out of all those years, way back to 1766. Look at all of those years. It's in the top 20. You'll find out where in the top 20 it is in a moment. But yeah, it's an exceptionally wet May, actually following on from a pretty dry March and a very dry April. So what a strange spring we had. Very, very odd spring, wasn't it? Anyway, very simply, we're going to be looking now at autumns that followed the top 20 wettest Mays, and I shall run them through for you from number 20 all the way down to number 1. So this is going to be exciting, isn't it, pot pickers? Right, so here we go then at number 20. What's Gav doing? Right, at number 20, we've got 1856. Who was it? Fluff, wasn't it? Alan Fluff Freeman. Pot pickers. Yeah, so at number 20, we've got 1856 with high pressure over and to the west of the country and low pressure to our south and east. The winds will be coming in from an easterly direction. It can be quite dry, but also quite calm. Remember, autumn is a transitional season, so if you get that pattern in September, it's probably going to be relatively warm and dry in September. In November, though, that could be quite a cold pattern that we have there in 1856. And number 19, we've got 1925. I'm so sorry, but I won't do that again. I can't sing, so there's no point trying. So at number 19, the 19th wettest May is 1925. The autumn of 1925 has low pressure to our east, high pressure to our west and northwest. At number 18, we've got 2000, very wet autumn, following the 18th wettest May for England and Wales P. And so that one is a very wet autumn indeed. Tremendous flooding by November 2000. We have 3 months worth of just torrential rain. It doesn't stop. So we end up with tremendous amounts of flooding. Number 17, we've got 2014. This is a warm, dry autumn with high pressure over and to the east of the country. Low pressure is out to the west, and up come those southerly winds. So, yeah, it's quite a warm autumn, that one, in 2014. It's possibly the warmest autumn on record. I'm sure someone in the comments will know. Then we've got the autumn of 1955 at number 16, following on from the 16th, wettest May. This one has quite an anti-cyclonic signal. There's a lot of dry weather, and it's a pretty warm autumn as well. Follows on from a very dry, hot summer and very extended summer. It carries on into the autumn with a dry and pretty warm autumn too. Our next autumn at number 15 is 1847, Bob Biggers, with high pressure over Western and Northern Europe. Low pressure is around Greenland ice. That looks like it will be another pretty warm and dry autumn, to be honest. Then we've got the autumn of 1942 with another sort of anti-cyclonic signal, really. High pressure is over and to the west of the country. Low pressure is more towards the north. Jet streams push northwards as well. That looks like it should be another relatively dry and quite warm autumn in 1942. 2006 is another warm autumn. This one's a little bit more unsettled, but it is bringing up lots of southerly winds. This one is also one of the warmest autumns, if not the warmest autumn on record. I'm always unsure between 2006 and 2014. But anyway, they're both exceptionally mild, and they both have a lot of warm southerly winds as well. We've got 1983, of course, that showed up in the earlier package of analogues. This is a dry and mild autumn, although it does have a wet September in 1983. At number 11, we've got the autumn of 1969. This is a dry and warm autumn again, with a lot of high pressure through the country. So could like a wet May translate to like a dry autumn. But then, of course, we know that in the earlier analogues package, a cold May, or a cool of an average May anyway, that CT range, looks much more unsettled, especially so in September. So it's interesting, isn't it? Interesting how it all comes together. But anyway, this is another warm and dry autumn in 1969. Then we got the autumn of 1878, preceding the extreme, severe cold winter of 1878-1879. This one is a very cool and wet autumn with low pressure extending down western side of Europe. Unlike 62, where there's not that much sign of the winter pattern getting going, we do see it actually during the autumn of 1878 with the blocking turning up over Greenland. You know, you can see it, can't you? The northern blocking getting into place there for what will be an extremely cold and severely cold and snowy winter for 1878-1879. Right, we're top 10 now. At number 10. Okay, Pop Biggers. At number 9, we've got 2007. After the flooding summer, we've got mainly dry weather. Cringe. When I watch this bad, we've got mainly dry and quite warm autumn in 2007. At number 8, we've got 1979. This would have showed up in the earlier analogues package if I hadn't forgot to include it in there. It was included in the all years combined, though. I wasn't too concerned because I knew it was going to turn up again. So this is one of the key years, actually, for this update, because it appears twice. You know, for both May CT and also for May precipitation. For the autumn of 1979, that's how it would have looked earlier if I'd showed you it, but I'm showing you it now. It's generally quite a mild and reasonably dryish sort of autumn, actually, and very westerly autumn too. We've got the autumn of 1869 at number 7 with low pressure to our east, high pressure out to the west. This looks like quite a cool, maybe pretty cold autumn with winds in from the north. At number 6, we've got 1924 with quite a lot of low pressure over to the west of the country. This is a mild but wet autumn in 1924. Look at this. At number 5, we've got 2021, and we do not know what the autumn of 2021 has in store, but it's what we're attempting to you know, find out, and we will find out, you know, when we get to it, but we've got to give you a forecast before we get to that. But May 2021 is actually the 5th wettest May for England and Wales precipitation. When you think that goes all the way back to 1766, wasn't it? You know, it's incredible. How far back does that go again? Let's have a look. I forgot. Gaz forgot. Yeah, 1766. So where was I on the tabs? Oh dear. I should have done that, really. Really, should I? There we go. Yeah, when you think that the index goes all the way back to 1766, and we've had the 5th wettest May back to 1766 for England Wales precipitation. Incredible. And we do not know what the autumn of 2021 has in store. But we're going to try and answer that for you. We're going to try and find out over the next few weeks. Right, number 4, we've got 1886, with high pressure over and to the east against low pressure to the southwest, winds in from a southeasterly direction. I think that's a drier and also quite mild autumn in 1886. At number 3, we've got 1843. This looks like a cold, dry autumn with high pressure going north, back to northern blocking. So we're probably pulling in winds from a north-northeast direction, probably reasonably dry, but also cold. At number 2, the second wettest May for England and Wales precipitation is 1932. The autumn of 1932 looks very unsettled, quite a wet autumn for northwest Europe. Could be quite a chilly autumn as well, as high pressure pulled out into the Atlantic Ocean. And at number 1, can you guess what it is? At number 1, pot pickers. Here we go. At number 1, the wettest May for England and Wales precipitation is 1967. The autumn of 1967 is just mild and wet, really, with low pressure over to the west of the country, in come the westerlies. So it's Atlantic driven and just typical autumnal type weather. Not anything particularly interesting either way, other than it's just generally quite an unsettled autumn, as you expect autumn to be. Right, pot pickers, let's put all of that together then. And this whole September's combined are coming out, following the top 20 wettest Mays. And it looks unsettled, with low pressure over to the north of the country, and high pressure is to the west and to the southwest, and winds are coming in from the west and from the southwest, pot pickers. We go through to all October's combined. That's my fluff impression. We have, not very good, was it? We have high pressure over the west and north of Europe in all October's combined, following the top 20 wettest Mays. Bit giddy tonight, aren't I? It's how all November's combined are looking, following the top 20 wettest Mays. I'm so sorry. I've got to do start cracking up. We get a mid-Atlantic rich with low pressure across northwestern Europe, and winds are in from a north-northeast direction. That's the coldest out of all of it, I think. That could be quite a cold November signal there. For that one. And then this is how all autumns combined are looking, following the top 20 wettest Mays, with high pressure away to our west-northwest, low pressure is to our northeast, and winds are in from a northerly direction. A lot of anticyclonic signals, really, although it does, again, similar to the earlier analogue package, does contain quite an unsettled September. Next, let's just narrow things down to look at the years after 1950. So this is how all Septembers combined are looking, following the top 20 wettest Mays post-1950. It does make a very, very big difference. How interesting. Instead of that very wet September signal, we have a much stronger high-pressure signal over to the east of the country, a drier and warmer September. And now, suddenly, all of a sudden, is favour. Bear in mind, there are exceptions to that. I mean, we've got 1983 in there. We've got 2000 in there. They both had very wet Septembers. But overall, when we take out the years before 1950, when we put all of those in the bin, September suddenly flips to favouring quite a warm, dry outcome. And that carries on into all October's combined as well, post-1950. Much stronger anticyclonic signal here, with high pressure, just dominates across many parts of Europe. Low pressure up towards Greenland and Iceland. A very strong high pressure dominated signal that we have there. And then we go through to all November's combined. Looks more unsettled and potentially a little bit colder as well, with high pressure in the middle of the North Atlantic, low pressure to the north and also to the southwest. So out of the 3 autumn months, I think that after 1950, definitely November has like more unsettled and colder potential. And then all autumns combined, however, favouring anticyclonic weather pot pickers. All autumns combined, following the top 20 wettest Mays, favours higher pressure, definitely, particularly so for September and also for October as well. I'm so sorry, everybody. Right, that's it then. That's it. What's he doing? I don't know. Right, that's it. I couldn't resist it. Did a little bit of fluff, pop because I couldn't resist it. Right, thank you so much, everybody. I hope you enjoy. I haven't been too much. Let me know in the comments what you think. So yeah, it's a mixed bag. The earlier set for the CT definitely favours like a wetter, cooler autumn. The later set seems to favour like higher pressure, drier weather, especially after 1950. So it swings and roundabouts, really, but a mixed bag, definitely a mixed bag. Right, so that's that done then. Right, so you'll be able to come back and watch this on demand whenever you want. It's now within the playlist, on the GavsWeatherVids autumn updates, on the GavsWeatherVids homepage, and it's within the autumn updates playlist. So you'll be able to watch it on demand whenever you want. You'll be able to see Gav doing fluff whenever you would like to do that if you want to. Maybe you don't. Right, so that's that out of the way. Now, what I have got to tell you is that, so let's explain about the rest of today. So, we've, of course, released our 7 a.m. forecast, so you check that out. We've got GavsWeatherVids Sunny Roundup coming up in a couple of hours' time. And then I'm going to be live streaming from 6 o'clock tonight. It's a sunny live stream, so we've got to show some long range. We'll show you CFS and also Beijing climate data for the rest of summer, autumn, and also winter 2021-2022 within that live stream. Tomorrow, talking about analogs, we have got, and I haven't replugged this so far, but I can reveal that tomorrow at around 7 p.m. in the evening, we'll be releasing the first winter 2021-2022 preamble. So you remember last summer we did 3 winter preambles through the summer in June, July, and August. We're doing that again this year. Just a bit of fun, just a little bit of fun to whet the appetite as we go through June and July and August, and we'll release 3 winter 2021-2022 preambles. The first one of those is coming up tomorrow at 7 p.m. on the channel, and channel members have already been able to see that. I've already have an advanced preview, but you're all going to get to see it tomorrow at 7 p.m. So that's going to be an interesting watch, isn't it? That'll be an interesting watch. Yeah, but I'll see you later on for the live stream, of course, at 6. But don't forget the Sunny Roundup for the second autumn 2021 update. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.